So what are the causes we have? One, it is the personal causes, that is from the employees side. What are the reasons we have? So here we have the two system of payment of wage. One, it is the time rate system, another one it is the piece rate system. So here what are the reasons for idle time? So that is categorized as production causes, administrative causes and the economic causes. Hello everyone, welcome to the session. My name is Krupa MD, faculty in the Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. So we are in the session 1 of cost accounting of 3rd semester BBA. So in today's sessions we will be discussing the 3rd unit, that is employee cost or labor cost. See, from 3rd unit, one definite questions you will get, that is either for 10 marks or sometimes they will ask for 5 marks, that is calculation of total wage under Halsey's premium plan and Rowan's plan. So this one definite questions you will get, that is calculation of total wage, that is either for the 10 marks and sometimes they will give one simple problems, that is for 5 marks. And along with that you can expect one theory question also here. So some of the theory here it is there, what is time rate system? So that we have that is the time rate system, under that we have timekeeping and time booking. So in that topic you can expect one question here, and we have here idle time, and then we have overtime, and then we have labor turnover also. So here in that you can expect one theory question. So total 10 plus sometimes for 5, total 15 marks you can expect from the 3rd unit. So now let's move on to that, what are the topics we are going to cover in this today's session. So here agenda for the today's session, we have the discussions on what is employee cost or labor cost, and what are the classification or types of labor cost or employee cost that we have, and then what is timekeeping and what are the methods of timekeeping, again what is time booking and what are the various methods of time booking, and what is idle time, what is overtime, and then we have labor turnover and its causes, and then we have the remuneration systems or methods of wage payment. See, all these theory aspect or the theory topics that is included in 3rd unit, that we are going to see in the today's sessions. So after all these topic is done, then we will move on to the practical or the problem oriented topics. So from this theory topic you can expect one theory questions, that is sometimes it is usually for 5 mark session, sometimes they might ask for the 10 marks also. So here timekeeping, time booking, that is important topic, idle time, overtime, labor turnover. So these 5 are the important topics that you need to concentrate more on a theory basis. So now we will move on to say what is employee cost. So the employee cost also we call it as the labor cost. So if you take the total cost or the of a product or element of cost, labor cost, employee cost is the main second element. So when you are preparing your cost sheet, usually first cost or the first element you will take it as the material cost or the direct material, and then comes the second element, that is your employee or the direct labor cost. So that means labor cost, it is one of the important element of cost. So now we will see what is labor cost or employee cost. See here, it is also known as labor cost. Employee cost means the payment made to the employees for their services. So that means the labor cost or employee cost, it is the wages or the salaries or any type of considerations that is paid to the worker for their time or the effort they put in the during the productions or during their time in the organizations. So that we call it as the labor cost or employee cost. So here one definition we have, employee cost is defined by the Cost Accounting Standard 7 as the employee benefits paid or payable to in all forms of considerations. So here employee cost, it is defined as it is the benefits paid to the employees in all forms of consideration. That means be it in the form of basic wage or in the form of DA or in the form of incentives or bonus or any other benefits, like you have the medical facilities from the organizations, you will get the employee provident fund, you will get certain ESI or state insurance or employee state insurance, all form of considerations given for their services rendered by the employees. So all these considerations is given for the employees for their services in the organization. So that employees, be it temporary or the part-time employees or any contract based employees of an entities. So that means employee cost, it is the payment made in all forms of consideration for the employees for their services rendered in the organizations, be it a part-time employees or the contract based employees or the full-time employees, that all that we call it as the employee cost. So then we will see what are the components or element of employee cost that we have. So one, it is the current monetary benefit. So it includes the monetary benefits that paid or that will be payable immediately for the employees. That for example, it is the salaries or be it is the wages, or if it is the DA, that is the earners allowances, or if it is the bonus or the incentives, that we call it as current monetary benefits. And then we have the deferred monetary benefits. That means that is the monetary benefits that paid in the future times. So that means you might have heard about these employees provident fund, that is PF is there, and if you join any organizations you will get the certain ESI, that is employee state insurance you will get, and also you will get certain gratuity amount, you will get certain leave encashment. So these are the benefits you are going to get after sometimes. So immediately or in a monthly basis you won't get these benefits or these monetary benefits. You will get after sometimes, or after the 5 years of service you can withdraw this amount. So that we call it as the deferred monetary benefits. And then we have non-monetary benefits or fringe benefits. That means apart from these, sometimes or in any employees in any organizations, they will get some other facilities like your medical facilities they will give, and sometimes they will give the medical insurance for the employees and also their family members. They will give the leave holidays, or they will give the paid holiday benefits. They will give the educational benefits for the employees' children's, all that. Sometimes they will give the canteen facilities also. So all that we call it as the non-monetary benefits or fringe benefits. So all these three we call it as the total employee cost or the labor cost. So that we have seen what is employee cost definitions and what are the elements of employee cost that we have. So next we will discuss what are the classifications of employee cost or the types of employee cost that we have. So here we have one, it is the direct labor, and another one it is the indirect labor. So the direct labor means it is the wages paid to the worker who is directly involved in the process of productions, or you can clearly identify his portion of work in that unit or in that process of production. So that we have here. See, direct labor is that labor which is directly engaged in the production of goods or services and which can be conveniently allocated to the job or process or unit. So it is the direct labor means it is the time of the employees or employees work who is involved directly in the production of work, and you can clearly identify what is his portion of work in that process. For example, any furniture manufacturer is there and they will, you can see the carpenter, and that carpenter's wage, that we call it as the direct wage, because you can clearly identify his work, what is the time he has done while making that furnitures. So that we call it as the direct wage. So another classifications that we have, the indirect labor. So here indirect labor is that labor which is not directly engaged in the process of production of goods and services, but which indirectly helps in that direct laborers engaged in the production. So here who are all comes, these are the employees who's not directly involved in making a product or producing a product or services, but indirectly helps those direct laborers. For example, in a factory you can see number of supervisors, there will be the cleaning staffs. So all these we call it as the indirect laborers. To run the productions there you need these indirect labor, and they will be helping these direct laborers or the direct workers. For example, as I said earlier, in a furniture manufacturer is there, and the cost or the amount paid to the carpenter, that we call it as the direct wage, and there will be certain supervisors and the cleaners will be there. So that cost or the wages paid to them, we call it as the indirect labor. So these are the two classifications of labor cost that we have. And then we have the attendance time recording. So what are the two types of attendance that will be maintained in an organization or in a factory? So one, we have timekeeping, another one we have time booking. So in your time attendance system, we have two systems. One it is the timekeeping and another one it is the time booking. So these are the two systems or the two elements that we have. So now we will see what is timekeeping. So the timekeeping means the correct recording of the employees' entry time to the factory and the exit time. So the timekeeping means it is the exact or the correct recording of employees' entry time into the factory and his exit time. So that means here the factories, they will record what is the employee's arrival time and what is the employee's departure time. So that we call it as a timekeeping. So what are the methods of timekeeping that is we have, or factories they will have? One, it is the manual method. So here one we have the attendance register method. So here what happens, one attendance registers will be maintained in order to record all the employees' arrival time and departure time. One simple that we have. Another one, it is the token or the disk method. See, this token or disk method, it is the oldest and it is one obsolete, that is not in use in practical today. So that method that we have, the token or the disk method. Under this one token that will be given to the each employees, and whenever they come in or whenever they enter the factories, they are supposed to give that token to that person or the persons who is in charge of maintaining the records, and whenever they leave they have to take back their disk or the token. So this method, it is not practiced or not in use in today. So these are two manual methods that we have. Another one, it is the mechanical methods. So under time recording clock method, one special clock will be placed at the entrance of the factory, and every worker or each worker, he will be allotted with a time card. So whenever he will enter into the factory, he has to insert that card into that clock, and automatically that clock that will enter his entry time, at the same time exit time also that will entered automatically. So that we have the time recording clock. And second one, it is the dial time recorder. Here this is one of the oldest method of time recording. So it has a dial with numbers. Whenever the worker arrives, he presses that lever pointing to his numbers, automatically that will record its entry time and its exit time. So that is the dial time recorder. And third one, it is the electronic, so the modern method. So that is the method that we can see in the modern times or in the today's time. So here one, we have the biometric attendance system, that is automatically when an employee arrives, that system that will recognize his face or with the fingerprints, then automatically your entry time or the exit times will be recorded. And another one, it is a smart card or the swipe card system. That means each worker or each employees, they will be allotted with one plastic cards, same like your ATM cards, and there will be a card reader system in the entrance of the every factory. So whenever he comes, he will be swiping that card, so automatically his in time or the entry time will be recorded, and whenever he leaves the factory, he will be swiping again what is his exit time, that will be recorded. And then the digital or online attendance systems, under this what happens, through the mobile app or through the fingerprints, all the entry time or the exit time of the employees will be recorded. So these are the various methods that is followed to record what is the employee's entry time and what is the employee's exit time. So that we have. Next thing that we have the time booking. So what is the difference we have between timekeeping and time booking? So one thing it is, timekeeping, it will record all the employees entry in the exit time, whereas time booking, that will record what is the time of each employees that they spend on each particular job or any production or any department. So here time booking, what happens? It records the time spent by each worker on each work order or job or the process or operations or any other indirect work. That means during the day of their work, that means when they entered, after that till they leave the factories, during that time what is the time they have taken and they have involved in the production process or they have involved in any other indirect work. So that we have under time booking. So what are the methods we have to record the time booking or the time spent on each job? So one, it is the daily time sheet. Here simple, on a daily basis each workers they will get one daily time sheet and they have to fill all the descriptions about the work, what they have did and what is the work order number and the details they have to write in that daily time sheet. So the next method that we have the weekly time sheet, that is on a week basis they will be allotted with a time sheet and on the overall 1 week of time what is the work they have carried and they have to fill all the descriptions of the work order and the work order numbers, all that they have to fill in that weekly sheet. And the job card or job tickets, that means if it is the workers will allotted to the different jobs, for each jobs they will get one card and what is the time they have started that work and what is the time they have finished that work, all that information they are going to fill in that job card. And then it is the piece work card. Sometimes if it is the wage payment or the work, it is based on the piece, that is number of units they produced. So that for each unit they will produce or they will give one card. In that card they will be mentioning all the details. Okay, one production of 1 unit of product, this is the time taken, and for the production of 10 units of product, this is the time taken. So based on number of unit produced they have to record the time. And then the labor cost card. So the labor cost card, what happens here, combining the time and the job card, both each job they will combine what is the time they have spent and what is the unit they have produced or they have what is the time they have total worked in that job. So both the informations they will record there. And then the idle time card. See, one special card will be issued in each job or in each department where they have to mention about the idle time. So here idle time means what? So the time which the employees here they are not working. So to mention that they will be given separate card. So these are the various cards they will issue where they will get to know that how many hours that employees they have actually involved in the production process or in the production work. So that is the two systems that we have. One it is the time keeping and another one it is the time booking method. So the next we have the idle time. So idle time is that time for which the payment made but no direct production or benefit is obtained by the employees. Here the workers do not work but the wages is paid to them. Simple thing, sometimes due to certain reasons, okay, sometimes they will, you can say certain failure or break failure of any machines, during which what the productions cannot run. So in that time the workers will not work but still they will get paid, what we call it as the idle time. So here idle time is that time for which the payment is made to the workers but any productions or benefits is not obtained. So here there is no productions during the idle time. So there is no productions happen during that time but still the workers they will get paid. So here what are the reasons for idle time? So that is categorized as production causes, administrative causes and the economic causes. So what is the production causes? Here sometimes you can see the certain failure of machines, sometimes there will be a shortage of raw material, sometimes there will be any power problems or power supply will not be there. Or sometimes the workers they have to wait for certain tools or sometimes there will be a breakdown of machineries. So for all these reasons that we call it as the production causes. So that means during those times there is no productions or there is no actual production of the product but the workers they will get the payment. So then we have the administrative causes. That is due to certain administration decisions. If any employees they have involved in any administration decisions making, there will be no productions work. So that we have. And then the economic causes. and sometimes seasonality of the product and certain changes in the demand. So all that requires certain times to get the required materials, and also sometimes whatever the demand is there, according to that they have to go for getting the materials. So what is the time they have taken to fill that material? So that is also one of the causes for the idle time. So these are the various causes that we have. And what are the treatment, accounting treatment that is there for the idle time in cost accounting? So one, it is the cost of normal idle time, which is uncontrollable. See, all these production causes, administration causes and the economic causes are there. There are certain causes that is uncontrollable. For example, there is the seasonal changes in the product. So that is not there in the hands of organizations or the business. So that we call it as the uncontrollable causes. So for those costs, that we call it as the normal idle time, and that is treated as the direct labor cost for each job. So that is the causes which is uncontrollable. Sometimes you might see certain depressions in the overall economy. So because of that, there will be a certain time there will be the stoppage of productions. So that we call it as the uncontrollable causes of idle time. So that will be treated as the normal cost or the normal loss, and it is treated as the direct labor cost. And then we have the cost of normal idle time, which can be controlled. Sometimes see machine breakdown is there, so that can be controlled if they frequently monitor that machinery. And sometimes your shortage of material is there, it's not like uncontrollable. So if they keeps on proper monitoring of the material or the stock level, they can avoid these causes. So that we call it as the controllable causes. So that will be treated as the production overhead or the factory overhead. And then cost of abnormal idle time, it is not treated as the part of cost and hence charged to the costing, profit and loss account. So apart from this, if any abnormal idle time is there, that will be charged to the costing, profit and loss account. So these are the various treatment of idle time in the cost accounting. And then we have overtime. So what is the overtime? Or the employees, they will work above their normal working hours. See here, overtime is an extra time over and above the normal working hours. Suppose if a factory, they fixes 8 hours work in a day. If any employees, they works for 9 hours, that extra 1 hour will be his overtime. So here, according to the Factories Act of 1949, a worker is entitled to overtime wages if he works more than 9 hours on a day and more than 48 hours in a week. So that means if any employees, if they work more than their normal working hours, they will be entitled to get the overtime wage. Here, normal working hours in a day, they have fixed it as a 9 hours. If any employees works above that time or above that hours, he will get the overtime wage. So that is the rules, that is according to the Factories Act of 1949, it is fixed. And in a week, if his work normal working hours, it is the 48 hours. If he works more than that hours, he will be entitled to get the additional wages for that overtime work. And here, what are the circumstances under which overtime may arise? That is, what are the reasons where the workers, they have to work extra time, and how the accounting treatment of those overtime wages. So now we will see that what are the reasons for the overtime that we have. When it is desired at customer's request to complete the work within a specified time, with the intentions of or with the desire of customer's request that if he wants to complete that work within a specified time, so that he can work at the more than the normal working hours. So here it should be charged directly to the job as direct labor cost. So that means that cost of overtime wage, that will be charged as the direct labor cost. See, these are the treatment. We are not going to solve the problem under this, just for the theoretical basis how it is treated, that you need to know. And then another cause is when it is required to increase the output as per general production program. Sometimes if the factories or the organizations, if they want to increase the production output, then the workers, they have to increase their working time. So that is the another cause for the overtime. So here it should be treated as the production overhead. So here it is the reason it is to increase the output of the productions or the product output. So how it is treated? It is treated under the production overhead. And then we have when it is required to meet the seasonal demand. So that means there sometimes you can see certain seasonal demand or the sudden increase. So if it is in the rainy seasons comes, then the productions of umbrella should be more. To fill that demand, when they have to produce the more product, then obviously the employees, they will be directed to work more time. So in that case, that overtime wage, that is the extra payment made for that work, so again that will be treated as the production overhead. And then we have when it is required to increase the output to meet additional market demand. Suppose whatever the regular demand will be there, so that will much of unit they will produce in the factory. Suppose if any additional demand comes to the product in the market, then the workers obviously they have to work more time. So how that overtime wages will be treated? So here it should be treated as the, again it will be treated as the production overhead. See, if it is any overtime that is happens because of the production's requirement or the production's demand, all that overtime wage, that will be treated as a production overhead here. So when it is required to make any shortfall in productions due to additional conditions such as flood, earthquake, breakdown of machineries, etc. Sometimes you might have seen for some period there will be a machine breakdown, during that there will be no production work. So after that is corrected, after that is repaired, then whenever they restart, there will be the more productions unit or they have to fill that gap. So how that overtime will be treated? So to fill that gap, the workers, they have to work additional hours. So for that overtime wages, how it is treated? So it should not be treated as the part of cost and hence charged to the costing, profit and loss account. So that is the abnormal reasons. So, okay, sometimes there will be a certain flood happen. So during those times there will be no production work. So after that is cleared, then they have to, when they go for productions, they have to fill that gap. Okay, whatever during those tough times, whatever the units they are not able to produce, they have to produce after this period. So that will be treated as an abnormal. So that cost of overtime, that will be treated to the costing, profit and loss account. So these are the some of the overtime causes and how it is treated in the cost account. So next we have the labor turnover and its causes. So what is labor turnover? So example, in the beginning of the year, and any factory or any organizations, they might have 10,000 workforce or 10,000 is the number of employees they were there in the beginning of the year. And when they see at the end of the year, suppose if 10,000, if it is reduced to the 9,000 laborers. So here you can see the reduction of 1,000 laborers. So that rate we call it as the labor turnover. So that means it is the rate of employees or the labor who opted out of that organization. Simply it is the number of employees who quits an organization in one particular period of time. So here what happens? So here labor turnover, it is the changes in the labor force is known as labor turnover. Thus the labor turnover refers to the mobility of employees from the factory to factory for getting the opportunities in terms of earning and positions. So there might be the number of reasons. One, it is from the employee side, when they want to get, when they have some better opportunity outside the organizations, they may leave. Sometimes due to the uncontrollable like death or accidents, these are the uncontrollable factors. So because of that also you might see the certain reduction in the employees force. Sometimes from the organization side also, if they have not have any proper working environment, and also if they have not have proper incentives or the bonus system. So during those time also employees, they may decide to leave the organizations. So all that we call it as the labor turnover. So that means it is the rate of changes in the labor compositions or the labor force in one specific period of time. So what are the causes we have? One, it is the personal causes, that is from the employees side. What are the reasons we have? One, it is when they have the better job opportunity outside the organizations, then when they have the better payment or the better working conditions, and then the changes in the place of residence. When they were changing their residence place, at that time also they will leave the organization, and then sometimes because of the family responsibilities like maternities or marriage. So for these reasons also the employees, they may choose to leave the organization. So another one, it is the unavoidable causes, that is the natural or uncontrollable causes, like death happens, if the accident happens. So in the other permanent disabilities due to the accident or the illness, sometimes after the certain age like 60 years, some employees, they will get retired. All that reasons, you will see the reduction in the labor force on organization. So that is the unavoidable causes or uncontrollable causes that we call. And then we have the avoidable causes, means what? From the organization side or from the management sides. If they don't have any proper working environment, obviously the employees, they will choose to leave that entity or leave that company. And also the poor working conditions and low wage compared to the other organizations. If the employees are saying that any other companies or organizations, they are offering better payment or better wage, so because of that also the employees, they may choose to leave the organizations. And then the lack of promotional and career growth opportunities. If that organizations, if not providing any opportunity for the career growth, if they are not providing any proper incentives or a bonus, then automatically the employees, they will choose to leave that organization. So these are the reasons or the causes for the labor turnover. So then we have remuneration system or method of wage payment. See, the remuneration system method of wage payment, that is one of the complicated administrative aspect in personal management, because it directly influences the efficiency level of the workers and how motivations they will get from the organizations. That means remunerations or the payment, that is the first motivations they will have from the organizations. That's why we call it as it is one complicated aspect in the labor or personal management administration. So here, what is the remuneration system? So that means the total compensations or the total amount paid for the employees for their effort that they put in the organizations. So that we call it as the wage payment or the remunerations payment. So here we have the two system of payment of wage. One, it is the time rate system, another one, it is the piece rate system. So the term itself says time rate system is what? That is employees, how many hours they have worked in that factory. So based on that, the rate or the wage is fixed. For an example, one employee, for example, employee name is A. He has worked 8 hours in a day and his wage rate per hour, it is rupees fixed 50. So his wage become 8 hours into 50 rupees. So his wage will be the 400 rupees. So that we call it as the time rate system. Here the payment is made based on the number of hours they worked in the factory. So under that we have the straight rate system. This is the simplest form of time rate system. The workers are paid at the fixed rate per hour, per day, or the irrespective of their efficiency or the output. So here under the straight time rate system, what happens? One fixed rate, for example 1 hour, it is rupees 50 is fixed. Maybe his efficiency is low. What is the unit produced in that 1 hour? That we are not going to consider. That fixed hours rate, it is given for that worker without considering his efficiency or the output. And then we have the no incentives or the bonus are given for the extra effort, only actual time worked is considered. Under the straight time rate system, if the workers, if excess hours or any extra work, no additional bonus payment is done, it is only fixed rate, it is paid to the employee. So that is the straight time rate system. And then we have the piece wage rate system. So piece means here what? So what is the actual output that any employees they have produced. So that based on that the amount is paid to, or the wages is paid to the workers. So under this system, wages are paid on the basis of the number of articles produced by the workers. So that means, for example, in a day of 8 hours work is there. Okay, in that 8 hours, if any employee has produced, okay, one furniture or one manufacturing factory is there. For example, one employee, he has produced 25 units of chairs. Okay, 25 units of chairs. For example, 1 unit or 1 piece rate, if it is fixed, rupees 20. So then his wage rate will become 25 units into rupees 20. So that will be the 500. So this is the piece rate system. So he will get total 500 rupees as the wages. So that we will see under the piece rate system. So simply here the wages or the salary is paid based on what is the number of unit produced by the employees. So here also we have straight piece rate. Under this, unit produced is taken as a piece. That means each unit, each article will be taken as one piece, and rate is fixed for the unit of production produced, and fixed rate is fixed there. And second one, we have differential piece rate system. So here means what? Different unit rate is fixed based on the efficiency of the worker. If any worker works under the efficiency or below the standard, he will get one rate. If any employees, if he works above the standard, then he will get one piece rate. So that is the differential piece rate system that we have. So this comes under your piece rate wage system, where the payment is based on the number of articles or unit produced by the employees. So these are the two methods of wage payment. One, it is the time rate system, and another one, it is the piece rate system. So this is all about the today's sessions. All the theoretical aspect that is included in the employee cost that we have seen in the today's session. And in the next session, we are going to solve, or we will see what are the important types of incentive systems that we have. One, it is the Halsey's premium plan, and second one, it is the Rowan's plan. So these two are the important wage calculations that we have, that you can expect for the 10 marks and also sometimes for the 5 marks questions. So that we will see in the next session. So this is all about the today's sessions. I hope you all understood what is employee cost and various elements or the topics that is covered under the employee cost. So we will meet in the next session. Thank you.